Have you ever stared at a project that deep down you know you should frog, but you just can't bring yourself to do it? Maybe it's a sweater that's too tight, a blanket with a color change that drives you crazy, or a hat that's not giving what it's supposed to give. And still, you keep going. You keep adding rows, hoping that somehow it'll fix itself. I've been there. It's not just a crafting dilemma, it's a mindset. Frogging or undoing your work and pulling out all those stitches isn't just hard because of the time, it's hard because it feels like admitting something didn't work. It feels like a failure. But here's the truth, it's not a failure, it's freedom. Today we're diving deep into the psychology of frogging. Why does letting go of crochet and knit projects feel like a breakup? Why do we even hold on when we know the project isn't working anymore? And why do we hear ourselves saying, but I already spent so many hours on this? I see you, I am you, and this video is for every crocheter, knitter, or yarn lover who's ever looked at your crooked whip and thought, maybe if I finish it, I'll like it more. Whether it's a scarf that's turning into a triangle or a top that no longer brings you joy, it might just be time to let it go. And letting go isn't a weakness, it's a power move. It's progress in disguise. So grab your yarn, maybe a cozy drink, and let's talk about it. Because sometimes the biggest lessons in crafting isn't how to make the perfect stitch, it's about learning how to frog and move forward. So you may be wondering, what the heck is frogging anyway? For those unfamiliar with the term, in the world of crochet, frogging means unraveling your work. We call it frogging because you rip it, just like the sound a frog makes. Cute, right? Well, not really when you're actually doing it. But in knitting, there's something similar, but it's slightly different, and it's called tinking. That's just knit spelled backwards, and it means you're undoing your stitches one by one, stitch by stitch, row by row, rewinding all your yarn like a slow motion time machine. Frogging and tinking both mean the same thing at their core, undoing something that you spent time creating. And here's the thing, we rarely see it as something positive. You're much more likely to hear someone groan and say, ugh, I have to frog my entire project, rather than someone cheerfully saying, yay, I get to frog today. And that reaction is completely valid. In that moment, when you realize the fit is off, the color isn't working, or you've been working on a pattern wrong for the past 15 rows, it can genuinely feel like your work is unraveling in front of your eyes. You start replaying the entire project in your head. If only I had measured the first sleeve again. Why didn't I swatch? I knew I should have double checked that stitch count. And let's be honest, we beat ourselves up for being in a position that almost every crafter ends up in at some point. But here's the question I want to explore today. Why does frogging feel like such a personal failure? Why do we spiral into guilt, shame, or frustration when all we're doing is making a choice to try again? Maybe it's because we've been taught to measure success by what we finish. Maybe it's because our time feels wasted if we don't have a final product. Or maybe it's because nobody really likes to talk about how emotionally challenging it can be to undo something once you put your heart into it. Whatever the reason, you're not alone. Whether you're a beginner knitter, a seasoned crafter, or someone who's just emotionally attached to your yarn, frogging hits deep. But what if it didn't have to? What if frogging wasn't a punishment, but a powerful reset? Think about it this way. Frogging can actually boost your creativity and improve your skills as a knitter or crocheter. When you frog a project, you're not just undoing the stitches, you're giving yourself a fresh start. It's an opportunity to redesign, reimagine, and ultimately give something that you'll truly love wearing or gifting. That's why frogging crochet or tinking your knitting isn't a failure, it's a creative reset. And honestly, every single row you crochet or knit, even the ones you rip out, helps you get better. I've frogged more projects than I'm willing to admit. There were times I felt so much pressure to deliver the perfect results. For example, when I started working with companies like Lion Brand, the deadlines felt intense because I never seemed to give myself enough time. I remember thinking, I don't even have time to frog. I have to give Lion Brand these pictures and the pattern in a week. That external pressure combined with the internal pressure that I already put on myself as a recovering perfectionist made frogging feel impossible. But over time, I learned to embrace frogging and actually enjoy it, because when you frog a project, you're opening the door to endless possibilities. You see all the potential in your remake, knowing that if what you made at first was so bad it needed undoing, the only place left to go is up. So if you're struggling with frogging or feeling stuck in your crochet or knit projects, remember, frogging is not giving up, it's growing. It's making space for something better. And that's a powerful part of the creative journey. So now that we know what frogging is, why it's so difficult, and that it's actually really common among crocheters and knitters alike, let's talk about some practical tips to make frogging less painful and even maybe empowering. Because trust me, it doesn't have to be a dreaded experience. Number 1, walk away for a day before making the decision to frog. As a recovering perfectionist myself, I used to frog way too quickly. Sometimes before before I really gave the original work a fair chance. Often, I thought it was a disaster when it wasn't so bad after all. Taking a break gives you fresh eyes and a calmer mindset. When you step away for a day or even a few hours, you give yourself space to decide if frogging is really necessary. You don't have to solve the problem right in that minute. That pause can save you time, frustration, and yarn. Number 2, reframe your mindset. You're not undoing it, you're refining it. This is a powerful mindset. Instead of seeing frogging as a failure or waste of time, think of it as part of your creative process, like refining a diamond. You're the creator and you get to make your project better, stronger, and more beautiful as many times as you want. How many things in life let you redo and improve it over and over? Not many. Crafting is a unique privilege where you can experiment, make mistakes, and try again. Unless if you're working with a tricky yarn like mohair, where frogging is way more complicated, you really have the freedom to start fresh without any guilt. That's the magic of crocheting and knitting. Number 3, store your frogged yarn in a redo bin to see it as potential and not failure. Now, many of us have a whip bin, our work in progress graveyard, where unfinished projects sadly pile up. But a redo bin is totally different. It's a dedicated space for yarn and projects that you've intentionally unraveled and plan to remake. It doesn't mean you have to finish the project exactly how you started it, or that every project has to be perfect, but it means that your yarn, your hard-earned money that you invested in this quality fiber, it's valued and ready to be reborn into something that you'll be proud to wear or to gift. This mindset turns frogging from a negative experience into a positive creative reset. To get started, I want to lead by example. If I'm going to talk about the psychology of frogging and why it's okay to let go of a project, I've got to show you what it actually looks like in real time. So here's something I've decided to frog. Here's the story. After getting married in November, yes, I'm still soaking in that newlywed joy, but I had the dream of making my husband a hand knit sweater. Now that the so-called sweater curse was broken, I was ready to prove that handmade love could survive the stitches. I didn't use a pattern, just vibes and yarn and determination to make something meaningful. But turns out, love and vibes don't always make a great garment. What I ended up with is just not working. The fit is awkward, the shape is off, and most importantly, it doesn't reflect the kind of care and pride that I want to pour into a project for my husband. I imagine him proudly wearing this and saying, "My wife made that for me." And honestly, that is not what this sweater is giving. Sometimes when we talk about frogging projects, it's framed as defeat. But for me, this is liberating. I'm not frogging this out of frustration. I'm doing it with full clarity and confidence. I know this is not my best work. I know this yarn can become something even better. So with that in mind, I'm frogging this project as soon as I turn off this camera. I honestly can't wait to see what I end up creating for my husband with this yarn in the future. Whether it's a better fitting sweater or something entirely different, I know it'll come from a place of growth, skill, and love. And this time, maybe I'll follow a pattern. So now that you know it's not just yarn, it's psychology, frogging isn't just about unraveling a project. It's about unraveling the pressure, the perfectionism, and the fear of wasted time. It's a mental game just as much as a creative one. Whether you're crocheting a beginner blanket or knitting an advanced garment, every maker runs into this moment. Let me know in the comments below. Was this video helpful for you? Have you ever struggled with frogging a project? And what made it so hard, or what finally helped you take that leap? Let's talk about it in the comments, because I guarantee you're not the only one who's been there. This community is full of people navigating the same yarn-filled ups and downs. I hope this gave you the nudge, or maybe even the permission you finally needed to frog that project that's been weighing you down. Remember, every stitch teaches you something, even if you end up pulling it out later. If you like this video and want more crafty conversations, real talk about yarn life, and creative encouragement, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss what's next. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, and happy frogging or not. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.